There are a lot of shows I look back fondly on despite not knowing what the hell I was watching or even why I was watching it. Several of these shows have come to be some of my favorite pieces of media, while others not so much. But as a preteen with not a lot going on, I wasn't very picky, and one of these shows I quickly grew infatuated with is Unsupervised. Like the name suggests, the show follows two highly unsupervised, frankly abandoned teenagers, Gary and Joe. The former has borderline geriatric parents who we never see throughout the show, has a criminal 40-year-old brother, and is, in his words,
I ain't got no money, I'm poor as dirt.
But fortunately, he has his best friend in the world, Joel, a kid whose dad left him to live alone with his pawhead of a stepmom who frankly doesn't want him.
How many times do I have to tell you I'm not your mom, I'm your stepmom?
Their circumstances force them to deal with most of their responsibilities alone, and unsurprisingly puts them in some precarious positions with the rest of the show's cast of colorful characters. But before we get into them, it's important to note the other main lead and friends of our dynamic duo, Megan, a narcissistic, vain, and nerdy teenage girl who's always trying to fit in,
That's a great idea, Mom. Why don't I just go to a crack house and get raped?
and Darius, the only black teen in the show who's almost always the level-headed member of the group and is almost always tired of their bullshit.
Well, you don't seem very level-headed right now.
Well, if I had a hose, I'd smack your ass in the mouth.
All right, I'll get the wagon.
He's also my favorite.
Hey, how you doing?
The core premise of the show is watching this seemingly average group of American kids try to live their regular teenage lives, throwing parties, drinking, having part-time jobs, trying to get laid at prom, smoking weed, and the occasional arson. You know, standard stuff, but all in a highly unsafe environment around incompetent adults, mainly due to our two leads' low-income background. While we're watching this series for the video, I immediately noticed that the show has a lot more bleak themes than I initially thought, specifically focused on the environment the kids find themselves in, which, respectfully, is very trailer trash-esque. Several episodes depict dingy, trash-ridden locations including their schools, individuals doing questionable things, chaos constantly happening, and a lot more. Through these depictions, the series also covers several lighthearted to heavy themes, from teenage insecurities to drug abuse, addiction, racism, classism, slight homophobia, prostitution, and you guessed it, a lot more. But hey, the show tries to cover these subjects in a somewhat humorous way, with varying degrees of success, but also not so successful that it tackles these subjects well enough to have you ignore that bad feeling you get while watching some of these scenes, not unlike watching a fight.
Yeah, I know. I can't tell whether fights are cool or sad. It's confusing.
But like a particularly similar show, the series is not afraid and is almost all too keen to showcase its fucked up humor and crass themes, and even wears them on its sleeve, which can either be a plus or a minus depending on the viewer. All that said, my favorite aspect of the show is that despite their circumstances and upbringing or lack thereof, these two boys are still the kindest and most respectful teenagers you'll see in a show, which is admittedly the most unrealistic part of the show. They always try to help each other and everyone else when possible, always try to be respectful, do the right thing even when they mess up, and are always best friends to each other. A perfect example that adequately highlights their positive attributes can be seen in the 11th episode, where the group and their schoolmates have a war with the local prep school students after trying to cordially broker peace between them. The episode not only highlights the boys in a good light, but also showcases several of the aforementioned themes, specifically classism.
Decide you'll never get along with the preps. You're too different.
What kind of lesson is that?
A good one. You'll be losing to these people your whole lives.
All these and more make the show one of the weirder ones I've seen, but one that's provided an enjoyable experience regardless. And while its animation, direction, and overall production aren't mind-blowing, because let's face it, not many Western animated shows are, the music is at least quite appealing, and the urban sound matches the show's themes quite well. In terms of the background of the show, the series was created by It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia writers and executive producers David Hornsby, Scott Marder, and Rob Russell. The first of the three voices as one of the kids and even physically designed some of the characters. According to David, the three got together to make something that felt like it could appeal to the Sunny crowd. It's a show centered around high school kids who are very optimistic and earnest freshmen in a bleak world, and the show based on the three's high school experiences, and I think they managed to do this quite well. Unfortunately, while the show generally had a positive reception from viewers who gave it a chance, critics didn't seem to like it that much, which didn't help its low ratings. The show was axed after only one season, and while I couldn't find a specific reason, it's fair to say it's a result of the aforementioned low ratings. This sucks because I genuinely enjoyed the show when I was a teen and even now as an adult after rewatching it, and I think even more people would enjoy it given the opportunity. So if this video has garnered an interest in you even slightly, I advise you check it out. It's only 13 episodes and is currently available on Prime Video. Unsupervised was a good show that deserved better, so I decided to talk about it because, well,
Lord knows no one else is going to.
thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, slap that like and subscribe button and check out the show. It's not for everyone, but I think it's pretty cool, and I'll see you in the next one.